there. I have to make sure I'm good. It's hard to do that. I always feel like I'm hitting the ground running when I start these things. So I think we're okay. I think here we are, and now we're here. So let me double check, see if we are good audio wise. I should probably get closer, considering that's my goal, is for you guys to hear me while I yeah. You know what I mean? Okay. You know what I mean? Okay, and we are live. Very good. Let me pull up the chat just in case anybody shows up. Is it there? Okay, there it is. Okay, cool. All right, well, it's going to be a fun episode. Actually, it's not. It's not going to be a fun episode. Actually, it's going to be a hell of a risky episode. I could not find, for the life of me, very many usable clips for this episode. Yeah, it was really difficult. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what they're hiding. I actually should have done the thing is, the rabbit hole that it sent me to was not the one I actually wanted to go down. It just kept sending me down deeper rabbit holes into other mass suicide events due to cults. And I studied a lot of those already. This one I have not really looked into because it actually happened in my lifetime. It happened in the year 1997, right here in California, in San Diego, which is my home away from home. If I'm being honest, my father is from San Diego. So we were there constantly to visit and vacation. And again, it's my favorite city on the planet. There isn't another one that you can convince me is better than San Diego, California. So maybe I need to get out more, but that's me. That's my preference. But yeah, so yeah, this thing happened in the year 1997. I was 12 years old in 97. So I was fairly young, but still very, very fascinated and had so many questions about this event. So we'll get into it. But before we do, I just want to say once again, hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us here on Tootie's Toy Box. Do me a favor, leave a like if you end up liking this video. Comment if you have something to say, please, and subscribe. All of those are free to do. I don't do Patreon. I don't do Cash App. I do Cash App. I do Cash App, but I don't advertise it because, who cares? Like, if you want to send me something, then that's on you. I shouldn't have to sit. I'm not going to sit and beg. I'm not doing this to get famous. I'm not doing this to get rich. I'm doing this because it's actually really fun for me. And I enjoy talking to people when they show up. I enjoy talking to myself and watching you guys watch afterward and tell me, hey, that was really good. Like, yeah, cool. Thank you. That's all it's for. That's all it's for. But I would still appreciate the subscription, just so that I know that the more it grows, the more I know people are actually wanting content like this. It's not necessarily unique. I think the only thing that makes it unique is that aside from the bumper graphics that I use on Instagram and the thumbnails that I put on here, there's nothing fake about it. There's nothing fake or gay. It's all organic. I use AI very little because I don't know how to graphic design, nor do I want to learn at 41 years old. So it's nice to have that as a convenience to say, hey, dude, make me look like this. And then it does. And it's like, oh, that's so cool. It's really cool. You know what's funny, though, is AI, it kept, Meta AI or whatever it's called. It kept wanting to make me look Asian. Do I look Asian to you guys? Every time it comes up, I would send screenshots of it to my best friend. And I'll tell him, bro, why does AI think I'm Asian? I don't think I look Asian. But yeah, it kept sending me pictures. It's like I'm like total, like just this gorgeous porcelain Asian doll. And I'm clearly not. So I just thought that was funny. So yeah, also, you can also find minute by minute updates on my Instagram, which is at tootie.odin003. That is on Instagram. It's my main platform. I am on TikTok. I don't really know what it is right now. I don't go on TikTok often. I probably should. I'd probably grow more if I did, but I'm too old, guys. I'm too old for it. But do follow me on Instagram. I do keep that up to date every day as much as possible, actually. And I do. There are some clips that are not played here that I do play on my Instagram Reels, and vice versa. So I try to make each experience unique, so you're not watching the same thing on every platform that I'm on. And again, I'm only on 3: YouTube, X, and Instagram. I'm on TikTok, but I don't use it. I don't know how, and I don't care to learn. That's me. Good for me. Also, last thing I'll announce, because the winter season is coming, it makes a lot of people who are usually available during the summer not available during the winter. So I will be going back and doing local open mics again and seeing where the avails are so I can book myself. So I will be hitting the stage as a stand-up comic once again soon enough. It's an absolute blast. It's so much fun. If you guys are local, find me on my Instagram, hit me up on my DMs, and I will give you comps. I can get you in. I can get you out for a night on the town and have some laughs guaranteed. So hit me up for that. I will be announcing those soon enough. And that's kind of all I have as far as announcements go there. So thank you guys for watching. Whoever is watching here, thank you so much. So the Heaven's Gate cult, man, this is a big one. This is a big one. Like I said previously, this happened in my lifetime. I was, again, 12 years old when this incident did occur, and I do remember it creeping me out to the max. I grew up in church pretty much all my life. I still go to church till this day. But that being said, me and my family personally have made it a point, and it started with my dad. My dad is and may he rest in peace, but he was the realest human being as far as reality is concerned. He was the most grounded fella I have ever known in my life. There were things that the church banned that my dad didn't. That my dad was like, so it's hers. Let her. So what? It's hers. Let her do what she wants. Like, my dad never saw the he never saw the sin in certain things that the church saw sin in. So we grew up as a family very vigilant towards cults, in a sense, and unbeknownst to us as kids, but that's exactly what we were doing. So to this day, like I said, I do attend church, and I try to attend as faithfully as possible. I highly recommend raising your kids in a community that way. Again, be vigilant, because there's a lot of things out there that are gross and creepy, and you hear about the molestation, and you hear about these red flags of abandon your family. If they're not right with God, then you have to let them go. That's a red flag to me. We don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a normal reaction to have, to disclose and close yourself in, especially because that's not what my Bible and what my religion, if you want to call it a religion, but that's not what I believe. I don't believe you shut people out. I don't believe that at all. I don't think that's actually the case. And that's a huge red flag when it comes to cults. And unfortunately, we have witnessed that in a lot of churches where it's oh, I don't drink alcohol, so I'm not hanging around those people. That's fine. But that has nothing to do with your church or your religion. That's your preference as somebody who's sober. People who are sober in recovery do that all the time. And they don't use that as a way to abandon people that they love. They just use it as a way to keep themselves away from things they don't want to be a part of. So there's red flags. There's certain things that a lot of people need to be aware of and vigilant of. And again, it's things like this, like the Heaven's Gate suicides, Jonestown even, that lead people to be turned off by the idea of going to church. Understandable. 1,000% understandable. There are, what's the phrase? Oh, you drank the Kool-Aid. That's a normal phrase now. It's a normal thing that came straight out of Jonestown, the Jonestown massacre. Hundreds of people died in that one. And probably one of the biggest mass cult suicides in world history, to be honest. It didn't happen here in the U.S. It happened on Haitian Islands or Jamaican Islands, something like that. It happened on some islands far, far away from here. But, and you know, it was an international cult, but there was a lot of Americans that passed away in that, including children. That one I did study. My mom was really morbid, so she did have us watch certain things and, hey, watch this documentary with me, like things like that. So, you know, Jonestown did sit with me for a really long time because of it, because children were involved in that one. Really sad stuff that those babies had no clue what they were getting into. They were just chosen to do it by their parents. You're doing it because I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, it's a fine line between indoctrination and cult activities. And even indoctrination is controversial. But when you become a parent, one way or another, you will be indoctrinating your child one way or another. Like I said, like either they're going to be good citizens of society or they're not. But you know, it's a debate of nature versus nurture on that aspect, I suppose. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into this. The Heaven's Gate cult. The suicides, the tragedy happened in Rancho Santa Fe, California, which is again right up there in San Diego. I do have my notes here. A UFO religious group that culminated in the largest mass suicide in the U.S. on March 26, 1997. 39 members, including leader Marshall Applewhite, who we will be discussing personally about. 39 members, including leader Marshall Applewhite, ingested a toxic mix of phenobarbital and vodka. Phenobarbital, that was a hard one to say. Phenobarbital and vodka. So phenobarbital, it turns out, is, I don't know if it's in use anymore today, but it is a seizure medicine. It's like a muscle relaxer and a putter, sleeper outer. It's one of those with vodka. Here's what I have to say about that. If they were going out essentially poisoning themselves, which is what people during these types of events do, if they were going out in that way, how did they get themselves covered? One of the questions, and I have the answer to it, thankfully, after 25, 27 years, however many long years it is, I've always asked the question. I should have just looked it up. I never did until I started doing this episode. But how did they cover themselves? If you guys know the story, you guys remember that they were covered and either their arms were out to their sides like this, or they were out like this, and their heads were like laid back, right? But they were covered in this purple shroud that was in the shape of a diamond. And so I always wondered, even as a kid, it creeped me the hell out. How the hell were they all covered so neatly if they were all dead? And now that I'm finding out that they drank, basically, they drunk themselves to death with this phenobarbital and vodka cocktail, that means they were drunk. So they were sloppy. They were probably slurring and sloshing about and obviously not very coherent if they ended up passing away, if their heart ended up stopping from these items. They weren't coherent. They didn't neatly lay themselves down and say, okay, goodbye, bedtime, and put that thing over their head and laid straight. That didn't happen. Somebody did that to them. Somebody did that for them. And I actually have the answers. I found out how and why, which is really cool. I'm going to start playing a video for you guys. It's the best one that I found. And again, oh my gosh, I did like hours and hours of research throughout days and days since I announced that I was actually going to do this, because I couldn't find something that was absolutely shareable. This one I'm about to share with you now is, sorry for the lag once again. This one I'm about to share with you now is straight from the Universal Tribune, I think it's called, which is a San Diego paper. So this is from a local source after this event actually took place. This is what I wanted. I didn't necessarily want like sensational news and Inside Edition, and I was getting a lot of that. I wanted something local. I wanted something real and authentic. I wanted something that people that were actually there in real time, I wanted to get as close to that as possible. So I am going to start the video. Let's share this. But I am going to be pausing it throughout, just so you know, just so that we can have some talk, a little bit of coffee talk on it. And let's do it.
On my way to the call, I was kind of trying to, in my mind, contemplate how I'm going to tell the people that the residents that I'm going to, hey.
There we go. Let's restart this. My bad, dog.
On my way to the call, I was kind of trying to, in my mind, contemplate contemplate how I'm going to tell the people the residents that I'm going to, hey, the reason I'm here is because somebody, I think it's a prank or something like that. And when I went up the driveway, that's when things started just changing a little bit, let's say. You start feeling something's not right. Just so happened that the last door that I came to was like a side entry door into the residence, and they had left that unlocked. You almost start to get tunnel vision, but then you started seeing the bodies everywhere because there was a room next to the foyer that they just had bunk beds out, and then there were cots and just bodies everywhere. Now, what was strange for us is that they're covered up. I mean, everybody's dressed in a black Nike jumpsuit with Nike shoes, and they've got a purple shroud over their head, and they've got a patch that says Heaven's Gate Away Team on the side. There's a computer that's like Star Trek that's flashing red alert on the thing. It's like you're kind of pinching yourself going, is this really happening? When our partners arrived, that's when we decided to go back in and go through the entire house, and it was just the two of us, and counted out how many people were there and what rooms they were in. And I basically checked people for signs of life by rigor mortis. And there was obviously nobody alive in the house.
There were 39 bodies in all. They'd taken drugs and alcohol and suffocated by trying plastic bags over their heads. So I was blown away. They committed suicide in shifts. I'll come back to it. I hope I don't lose it. Don't lose it. I don't know if I remember doing things this way before, but they committed suicide in shifts. So I remember watching, watching the many Jonestown documentaries, actually, and watching one specifically that had actual recorded video, and more than video, they had recorded audio. So when people started to realize what was happening, after you take the cocktail, they started convulsing and foaming at the mouth and, just doing the whole I'm dying thing. People were freaked out at Jonestown. They were freaking out about it. Like, no, I don't want to do this. I changed my mind. But then there's the guys behind them with the guns. No, we're doing this. We're doing this for the Lord. You're doing this. Sorry, pal. It's this or this. This. So that's how they got the numbers that they got. That's why there's escape stories. People legitimately had to go and run through the jungle to find the airplanes to actually escape. When they realized what was happening, mind you, they were told already. They were told this was going to be the way to go. They were warned ahead of time that they were going to do this. So a lot of those people didn't escape. A handful of those people escaped. A handful of people escaped. And some of them escaped without their children. Some of them escaped alone, knowing what was happening to their children. So what creeps me out more about this than that is that these people, this handful of 39 people, watched others pass away, however it was they did it. Be it convulsions, be it foaming at the mouth, be it just drunken, sloppy behavior and then passing out, and then being carried to their bed, and then being set straight, and then having the cloak put above them, neatly in that purple diamond shape. It creeps me out. This means that not only were those people poisoning themselves while watching their friends get poisoned, unless they did it gradually, they did it in shifts. But either way, regardless, they were finding their friends die, and they were putting them away, knowing they were next. They didn't run. They weren't afraid. They didn't say, never mind, I don't want to do this after all. They were all there and they were ready to go. Every single one of them. That's terrifying. I have a job to do. Now, what gets me is Marshall Applewood was the last one to go. Marshall Applewood being the leader, like I said, Applewhite being the leader. We'll get to him. We'll talk a little bit about a little chunk of his life. Now, there isn't much to suggest. There isn't much about his charisma. There isn't much about how he's persuasive, but there's evidence that he's very persuasive. However, whatever reason, maybe it's those big spooky blue eyes that he had, but there was something about him that was charismatic enough to get these people convinced that there is an alien spaceship coming and we're going to be on it. So whatever happens right now, it's cool. We're good. Ironic champ. Mikey, hi. Thank you for being here. They had a tidy custodian. They had several tidy custodians. They were the tidy custodians. That's creepy. It's just too much. It's absolutely too much. They were the custodians, custodioing each other and making sure that, it's just nuts. There is clips. I do have this clip. I don't think it's on this particular one that I'm sharing with you now, but there's one where he speaks about fluids being everywhere. So I'm wondering when the detective talks about fluids, he's talking about throw up, you know what I mean, and like piss, and like maybe they take shit to you, like, oh, I don't give a fuck, we're gonna die or whatever, you know, like who knows what fluids he's talking about. You can't just assume it's death fluids. Obviously you can, because that did happen, but like, were they throwing up everywhere? Were they pissing on the hallway? Like, what were they doing? Like, he said there was fluids everywhere. But if you look at the footage that we have available, it's pristine. They had a tidy custodian. It's pristine. So there's that. So yeah, they drank the cocktail, phenobarbital. Okay. Well, whatever pheno is, I know what barbital is. It's a seizure drug. I don't know what pheno is. Maybe it's fentanyl. Maybe it's a very early fentanyl. Who knows? I should have looked that up. I thought I did, but I didn't write it down. So yeah. So yes, the suicides staggered over a 3-day period, with surviving members in each stage being responsible to cover the bodies who've already passed, with Marshall Applewood being the last. But again, who covered him? 3 days. 3 days to unalive. Stupid word. 39 people. 39 people who understood the assignment. 6, 7. I'm just trying to say all the words. 3 days. That's nothing short of insanity, right? That's nothing short. People talk about like regular, normal Christians like myself, and make fun of us for believing in the spaghetti god, and for, you know, for certain beliefs that we have, and that's, which is fine. I get it. Yeah, we sound nuts. I get it. But this right here, this is absolute, like, nuts balls. This is insane. This is way beyond the guy who was crucified and then 3 days later he rose from the dead. We believe in zombies, for crying out loud. How would we not believe in Christ? Like, zombies were a super trend just 10 years ago. So, I mean, come on. We can't not have both. If we have to have one, we have to have the other, right? Zombie Jesus, let's go. Let's talk a little bit about Marshall Applewhite before I actually get into the rest of this video. He had his main alias was Doe, for whatever reason. D-O, Doe. Not really sure why that is. I have others, but I'll share those with you later. He was born May 17th, 1931 in Spur, Texas. He obviously died March 26th, 1997. He taught at a university in Texas for a brief time. He was a very, very intelligent, very well-educated fella. I do believe his father was a minister of some sort. This is just me going back and researching. I didn't write every note down, but go back and research it yourself. I'm sure it's there. I do believe his father was very religious and he was a minister himself. So maybe that's where the charisma came from, actually. Maybe that's where the get right with God, and maybe he had that in him. You know what I mean? Like, there's no evidence. There's no audio recordings of his preachings or his teachings. There's nothing to suggest that he was a fire and brimstone preacher. There's a lot to suggest, though, that he was very calm and hippie-like. So maybe more of a what's his name? Manson, maybe more of a Charles Manson type, where it's, but the love of Jesus or whatever he's saying. I don't know what he's saying. I don't know if he's saying that. I probably doubt. I rebuke it, by the way. But so maybe that's where it came from, though. Maybe that foundation of this is how you talk to people to convince them to do certain things came from the fact that his father was an actual minister. He resigned from the university in Texas, which I think was called St. Philip's in Houston. He resigned after having an affair with a male student. He was caught having an affair with a male student while he was married to Ann Pierce. There's not much, excuse me, there's not much on his wife, Ann Pierce. She didn't join the cult. There is no real, that I found, nothing tangible that we can find on Ann Pierce, the woman that he married, only that he had an affair with one of his students. And they ended up divorcing after him having a secondary affair with a female student, I think. And so they divorced. Then he went to rehab. He went to rehab for a little while for sex addiction. He thought maybe if he went to rehab, it would save him from his sexual desires for this and that and the other. And that is where he met Bonnie Nettles. Now, Bonnie Nettles is absolutely important in this story because Bonnie Nettles was his partner in crime in this cult, in the Heaven's Gate cult. She was pastor number 2, if that's what you want to call her. I don't consider either one of them a pastor, but she was number 2 in that entire organization. Which I find really interesting because some of these cults don't start, I mean, all of these cults, I should say, none of them start single. None of them start, just one guy being crazy. They start with a group, always. That's, I mean, if you look at it, that's how Jesus started, right? He started with a group of 12 people. So they take the roadmap that Christ set and they use it for their own benefit. That goes for organized religion as well, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have a problem speaking on things like that, to be honest, because I'd rather call it out than not call it out. There's been plenty of churches, even as a kid. I have friends that can vouch. I've questioned the church all my life. And if the answer is always, well, you need to read your Bible, you need to pray more. All right. That's not an answer, though. That's not an answer. Life is deeper than black and white. It really is. And what's beautiful is that there is a lot of gray area to work with. See, I personally believe that the Christ who walked on earth was a fan of the gray area. He didn't give a shit about the black and white. He wanted to get to know regular people. And the thing is, I think, and this is just me thinking, I've never watched The Chosen because I don't need anything of TV media influencing me. My whole church is like, watch The Chosen. It's so good. And Jesus and this, that. I get it. It's probably very good. But I like reading. I'd rather read and imagine how he is supposed to be. Don't tell me how he's supposed to be. Leave that up to me. So here's how I imagine him. I imagine him being attracted to people who are just chill as fuck. And then they meet him one day and like, hey, that guy's chill. And then later on they figure, oh my God, that was Jesus. Because that's exactly every story that happens in the Bible. Every story that happens in the Bible. People don't tell you this, but every single one of them is oh my God, that was Jesus. What the heck? They don't even know. He doesn't announce it. He doesn't say, oh, I am Christ, until he's already famous, until he's already known by the people, until he's already like, everybody knows his name and everybody's talking, until they know the name of Jesus, and that's not his name back then. Who cares? But until they know that name, he doesn't tell anybody because he doesn't care to. He's just a chill guy trying to get to know people. He's trying to get to know the gray area. So whenever somebody tells me, read your Bible and pray more, okay, gotcha, noted, noted, right? Now what? So this is the thing. this is a thing about these cults. And again, this is the umbrella of organized religion. Okay, I'm talking about everybody here. This is heated as hell because I mean it. I mean it. Like I said, I was raised in the church, and I don't fall for any of that crap. But I'm never gonna not believe in the God that I believe in, because that's the church's flaws are not God's flaws. That's man. That's man doing that for selfish agendic reasons. And there's no real motive for Marshall Applewhite except that he's kind of woohoo. You know, he probably was really convinced that that's what the Lord was telling him, that, oh, we're going to go in a UFO and this and that. It's just weird. It's weird because it makes me have to confront certain things in my own faith, studying things like this. Not that I will reject it. That'll never happen. But certain things like the rapture and certain things that they use to bring fear into their believers. Why? When nobody in their lives, nobody in the Bible was ever afraid of Jesus, with the exception of when he came back from the dead. Yeah, bro, he came back from the dead. They were scared as shit. You know what I mean? So all of this, if you put it in real life, if you put Jesus's life into an actual movie, again, won't watch it. But that's it. There's a reality to all of it, with the exception of, you have to die for it. No. That's already happened. Why do we got to do that? That's not fair. You did it, then we got to do it. It's not fair. So that's cult. That's cult shit. And it's very creepy. And it's very real because it's still happening till this day. It's still happening to this day. And a lot of it is inversion. A lot of it is the occult. A lot of it is Satan working in actual infiltrated churches, which is wild. Absolutely wild. Okay, I went on a tangent. What was I going to do? Oh, that's what I was going to say. What makes this interesting and what makes it actually more real, I guess, is I actually posted a clip on my Instagram. Again, you kind of got to follow it because I'm not going to be able to put a lot of the shit on my Instagram that I put on here. But there is a detective who talks about how everything is labeled. The light switch on, off. Cabinet, open the door. Jelly, peanut butter, mustard. You know what I mean? Everything is labeled. Seats, they had assigned seating. Not one damn thing from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed is something they ever have to think about. It reminds me of the Simpsons episode where he's following the leader. Mikey, I know you're going to be in on this one. But it reminds me of the way that the cult is trying to get Homer convinced that it's that he needs to be a part of it. So they're sitting at a table. They're with a bunch of the other Simpsons characters of Springfield, and they figure it out. Homer likes Batman. So they're like, okay, well, how do we integrate Batman with the leader? Na leader. Na leader. So then they start singing na leader. He starts singing na Batman, and then he says, "Oh, leader," like that. Like that, it happens. That's exactly how it happens. Don't think you don't need to think. We got you. We'll think for you. We got this. Anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting too. All right, let's get back to our video. Here comes the laggy part, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on, I almost left this whole thing.
Within 24 hours, we were giving out a lot of names. We gave out the videotape of the inside of the house, which dispelled a lot of rumors about it being a fly-infested house, which it wasn't. And it also assuaged the fears of the neighborhood that there wasn't a mass murderer. While we were showing that tape, I was commenting to a buddy of mine that you could hear a pin drop. And those are reporters who had been to Beirut, they'd been through wars, they've seen a lot. But while that tape was being shown, it was as quiet as a church. They would be classified as a New Age UFO group, and they believed in a higher level and that there was a transportation device on the other side of Hale-Bopp Comet, and that they could rise to a level above human if they committed suicide, and their spirits would be transported via this vehicle on the other side of Hale Bopp to a different plane.
There's not a day that goes by since that happened that something doesn't make me think about it.
Cool. So yeah, that was the end of that one. I think no. See, he gets it. I think what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say now. Damn it! God damn it! Very memorable incident. It's something that I would have never expected in my lifetime ever, to be honest. There's a lot of things in my lifetime I wouldn't have expected. 9/11, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things I would not have expected to happen in my lifetime. And it's funny because what made this incident stick out to me so prominently as a child is, one, I was in church. Two, I was probably in a church that was very cult-like at the time. And what was number three? Jonestown. Jonestown. I was studying Jonestown. I was fascinated by that. As a kid, I was fascinated by Jonestown. I was fascinated by the Holocaust for obvious reasons. I was fascinated by many things. I love stories of survival, but I appreciate stories of tragedy because there's detail in that tragedy. There's always a story behind every single person that is affected by these tragedies. There's always a story. And that's the part that fascinates me. Excuse me. Let's see if there's anything else that I forgot. If you guys have any questions, you guys have anything to add, let's go. I'm here to talk about it. I do have a few extras for you guys. The last outdoor outing that the Heaven's Gate church members, cult members went to was a Marie Callender's, and I actually have the menu of what they actually ordered for their last meal. Now, it's not on record that it was their last meal. In fact, when they had passed away, they in the autopsy reports, they had found no contents of food inside of their systems. So they obviously fasted, right? They probably fasted. They probably prayed, however they pray. And then they got drunk as fuck, right? But here's their last meal. Their last outdoor outing was Marie Callender's. They had iced tea. They had turkey pot pie with salad and blueberry cheesecake for dessert. That's our last meal. It sounds delicious. Just, that's just me though. Let's see. What else can I tell you guys? I already told you about the assigned seating, the jars, the labels. I just had Marie's calendar and it was soul crushing. Did you have to use the word soul crushing? Was it really soul crushing? Why? What do you mean soul crushing? First of all, was it bad? Loves me some Marie calendars. Anyway, let me get back to me on that one. Last thing I have is Applewood surnames. Bro had a lot of nicknames. So not only did he have Doe, he had Tiddly, he had Nincomb, and he had Guinea. Nincomb, like nincompoop, but why just Nincomb? There's that. And again, he had Guinea, Tiddly, that's weird, but those were his nicknames, and I'm not really sure who called him those, but that was that. So that is probably going to be the end of this episode. I had a lot. This one probably it seems really short, to be honest. It seems like this one was really quick to me, anyway. But a lot of like actual deep diving went into it, and it was really weird because there was not a lot that I found. There that I could actually use for you guys, which is interesting. My next deep dive into this, and I may share it online, I may not. But my next dive into it is to see if there's any CIA ties. Like, what exactly was this? There's just way too many strange factors involved. Who covered Marshall? If Marshall was the last one to pass away, who covered him? How? Why are these not? See, there's still so many questions that need to be answered about this project. So I like I said, I may continue it. Probably not. Probably not. I may continue it for myself unless I see something that's like, oh my God, I need to share this. But thank you guys so much. I had a blast with you guys. Again, if you like this video, please do me a favor and like it. I know there's lag. I know there's this and there's that and blah, blah, blah. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. Everybody's okay. But like it anyway. Subscribe, please. I would love that. And comment again. All of these things are free to do. Would love to hear from you guys even after the fact. I love that I do these live because they're raw. They're real. This is what I want and what I crave when I watch something on the YouTubes. So maybe it's right up somebody else's alley. And I did say alley. My Instagram, please find me and follow me at tootie.odin003. Speaking of nicknames, Tootie Odin is an Xbox generated name. I've had that for many, 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 many years. It's been a name for a very long time, probably over 15 years now. Yeah, Tootie Odin is Xbox generated. Just some trivia for you guys. So yeah, follow me there. Again, I will be announcing some open mics soon, and I will let you guys know when those are, especially you local people. Would love to see you guys there. It'd be awesome to have some support and also just watch people laugh. So thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Californians, Southern Californians, stay safe out there. It's about to rain, and it's going to rain hard. Hard R. Let's go. Tootie's Toy Box, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful night.